Hey there, this is Jmart with Jmart Haunt. Excited to show you some fun stuff that I got planned for today. What I like to do is actually walk you through how I stage everything for my Halloween haunts. And let's get started. I broke it down into 3 different sections. The first section will be the media source. So how do I take my shows, from my video editing and special effects and stuff like that and project it onto my Halloween haunts. The next section is the automation portion of it, which I use Alexa to do that through routines. So I'll go through the devices and everything that I use for that. The third part is the light show part of it. So what type of LED strip lights I use and syncing into the music and everything like that. So let's go ahead and get started with it. So the very first section, let's talk about the media portion of it. So I do some projection mapping. We do some fun things with like the singing pumpkins, and we got some talking ghosts and different things like that. We do some special effects with witches and all sorts of fun stuff. But yeah, let me show you what equipment that we need. In here, I got my projector. So we will be using that this year. I upgraded this one. I got it off of eBay. Back here is an Optima projector. It's a short throw that works really good for doing these home projections and stuff like that. So I would recommend getting a high lumen projector that is a short throw. So there's 2 other pieces that I use. I had this little media player. I found this to be the best way of doing it. I played around with Apple TV, Fire Stick TVs, and all these other things. But ultimately, I just went onto Amazon and bought, I think it's like 30, 40 bucks. But it's a media player that allows you to play media content through 2 different formats. So you can do it through a USB flash drive or an SD card. And honestly, for what I do, this is perfect for that type of setup. All right, and then like a 64, 128 gigabyte flash drive to do this. I know some of the bigger ones out there, they've got some terabyte ones and stuff like that. Funny thing is, I feel like once you get over 500 gigabytes, they don't work that friendly with the media. There's for some reason, you have to format them differently. But honestly, 128, 64 gigabytes is plenty enough space for doing a handful of little mini shows and stuff like that. So that's what I use this for. But yeah, so that's that section of it. So the second part now is the automation of it through Alexa. So I use infrared blaster. So this specific one is a switch bot. I got it online for some other things and actually happened to work perfectly for this. I use this to power on, power off the projector, go through and select the right file for the right show, and they make it really simple to do it. They got a couple of customization things that you can do, and you just set it up to say, hey, do this sequence, this sequence, this sequence, and I'm able to do everything through Alexa, which is really nice to be able to do that. The next part I do is I have a bunch of smart switches. This particular one actually has 3 smart switches built into this one outlet plug, which is nice. So this Alexa sees these as 3 different devices. I got a handful of these, and I use these to trigger other lights that aren't Alexa enabled. I do have some other LED lights that I'll be talking about here shortly, but in this case, like the lantern behind me, that one's on its own switch. I got some candles over here, and those are on its own switch, and then I got my skeleton frame over here, and he's on his own switch. There's just 2 things that you do inside Alexa. You got to have your skills set up for the different devices so that you can see them come up as devices. So you set up skills for Smart Live, Broadlink, all these different devices that you can use. The next part is actually creating the routine inside of Alexa. And once you're able to create the routine, you're going to literally have a punch list. So it's going to be timed. So you're going to say, hey, like my very first one is a power cycles sequence. So I power everything down, so it refreshes everything. I usually will power down the projector, the media player, turn down off the lights, and then I'll power it back up, right? And then that will be the next sequence. And then it will start triggering the show itself. My shows usually last for about a song, so they're about 3 to 5 minutes depending on the song. 30 seconds in the show, I want to change these lights to do these colors, or I want to turn off this section and then turn on this section. Turn off my skeleton friend over here and then turn on another animatronic guy over on my other side. So that's where you can have fun and actually stage your mini shows and through the automation through Alexa. New element that I added, which is really fun, I've been adding a bunch of Govee lights in my yard. Why I chose to go with Govee is they honestly, it's probably because of this guy right here. So this is a Govee music sync box. What's really nice about this guy is that you can tie a lot of other Govee LED light products to be able to sync with this. And then this has a built-in mic, it's portable. You can charge it through a it's a USB-C, and there's a little battery in here and it'll last us for a long time, but you can also just have a permanent power source to it. And that's what I'll be using. So this will be next to one of my audio sources and pick up the music, and then it's gonna do all the fun LED special effects through Govee for the lights. So one of the cool products they have, like I said, they got the LED strip lights. I got a bunch of those outside. They're weatherproof. I've actually added on the house itself, on the roof line, permanent outdoor lights that will be tying into it as well. And then these frames will go in front of, I'm gonna build 2 more frames, and they're gonna go in front of our front windows. And they're gonna be an option to project, something from the projection mapping. And then also I'm gonna have the Govee LED strip lights behind it so that we can even do some special effects with that as well. But yeah, very fun. Very excited about adding all these fun lights and audio and music to this year's Halloween haunt. All right, guys, that's what I got for you today. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't, if you're interested in seeing me as I get ready for this year's Halloween haunt 2023.